Welcome, everybody. It's hard to turn off such a great song, isn't it? So listen, thank you, everybody, for coming. Listing Mania Script Championship. I am super excited because I know we've got some contestants that are all like jazzed up and they got their competitive juices going, and we've got some really awesome judges to give everybody constructive criticism. So I am really, really excited about today. I want to start by giving a thank you to my fellow team leaders who have helped us put this Listing Mania month together. India Webster, it was her brainchild, and she has just done the lion's share of leadership on this thing. So thank you so much, India. Leslie Cato and Joe Keza have also worked really hard to put this month together. We know that everybody is focused on getting listings in this time of limited inventory, so there's nowhere better to be than Keller Williams to work on your mad listing skills. A couple of thank yous. Also, before we start, I know that our technology behind the scenes person here at our Keller Williams Summit office, Jackie Marcano, I'm looking at her right now. She has just been making so much happen to put this month together. So thank you, Jackie. Thank you. We're going to hear a little bit in a minute from our sponsors, Guaranteed Rate, who have really helped us make today exciting as well. We've got some great prizes. And most of all, I want to thank our three contestants. You know, it's pretty scary to have 100 people watch you do your listing presentation and know that you're going to get feedback, which I'm sure will be fabulous, but also constructive. So a really special thank you to Lucy Thompson, Deepak and Pinky Bonzel, and Sherry Tomasco, who have so graciously and generously offered to show us what they do to be the fabulous mega agents that they are. So thanks to everybody. Now let's get started. I'd love to first, well, first of all, everybody's going to go away who's on the screen here, except I want to leave Guaranteed Rate, our fabulous mortgage guys on the screen. I want to hear a little bit from them, and then we'll get started with the competition. Take it away, guys.
Good morning, everybody. I'm one of three people from Guaranteed Rate that's on the call today. My name is Matt Keene. I'm located over in Madison, New Jersey, and I'm with Brian DeVito and John Lampkin. Just wanted to wish everybody luck. I think this is going to be a great training opportunity coming up on the spring market with the listings. From Guaranteed Rate's perspective, we do a lot that we can. We do everything we can to support the listing side of things, whether it's broker opens or doing a lot of direct mail pieces. Oftentimes you see a lot of co-branded material that goes out on behalf of the agent and ourselves, where we're really trying to help you farm the neighborhoods and whatnot. So if we could be of any assistance in terms of helping you promote or get the next listing, please reach out to us. My name is Matt Keene at Guaranteed Rate.
John and Brian, can we hear a few words from you guys as well? John, you're muted.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, welcome. Nice to see so many people on this awesome event. Great idea, Shannon and team. As Matt was saying, we do try to support in a lot of different ways. One thing is we try to support you guys with some knowledge. I found out the other day, there was an announcement that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have extended the drive-by and desktop appraisals for another 30 days. This started during COVID. So a lot of times when we do a transaction, we do get appraisal waivers, which means we don't even need an appraisal. But for any of our conventional mortgages, we got another 30 days that we don't need to get access to the homes. This really does two things. Number one is it speeds up the process. And number two, if there are any deficiencies in the house, they usually won't come up because it's just a desktop appraisal. In the event you do have a home that might not be on the MLS and maybe it was a private sale, we do have the ability to go in the house if you really want it. We don't recommend it unless it's needed just because of the time periods. And you know, we haven't been adding that many new appraisers because the appraisers that we have are so good and they know the market so well. We just don't want to add any, you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry to mess up any of your deals. So if you have any appraisal related questions, the three of us are always available to help in any way. Thank you.
Thanks so much, John. Brian, let's turn it to you.
Good morning, everybody. Brian DeVito, Guaranteed Rate out of the Madison, New Jersey branch. For those of you that haven't worked with Guaranteed Rate, A lot of the big banks, because of COVID, they've changed a lot of their underwriting guidelines. Most of the big banks are going to require 20% down for a jumbo mortgage. We have several options that we can do that loan with as little as 10% down. And also from the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac standpoint, a client could potentially purchase an $805,000 house, only put down 5%. The big banks, they don't have an appetite for that stuff anymore. So there's a lot of things that we're still doing that they can't. So if you haven't worked with us, the three of us would love an opportunity.
So a couple more questions before you guys jump off the screen. Number one, would you guys put your contact info in the chat screen so if people want to reach out to you directly? The second thing is I just want to make a personal plug for the three of you. I've known you all and worked with you all for many, many years. Never once have been disappointed. You guys are always there to take care of our clients, which is what we're all here trying to do. So I would really encourage any of you guys to reach out to these three to help your clients get mortgages that they need. So last thing, can you guys tell us a little bit about the two prizes we have today? One of them, of course, we're going to hand out based on who wins some mortgage trivia, which we're going to do at the end. And the other prize will be awarded to the winner of the Listing Scripts Championship. Can you guys let us know what we'll be winning today?
Yeah. Oh, well, I can fill you in on the details. We were just discussing it. So we're going to do a catered broker open, as well as a just listed promotional material for farming and neighborhood with a postcard. So it's marketing material for any of the listings that you're going to be able to hopefully fine tune and get here through the training, as well as a catered broker open that you'll be able to bring to your client and let them know that we'll come in, set up food for the agents. So at least this way, it's a nice prize.
That's awesome. And there's two of those. So thank you guys very much for your continued partnership and support with us. Stick around, answer some questions, and we'll see you guys towards the end for the trivia and the prizes. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So now I want to let everybody know a little bit about the way the format is going to work today. We are going to have each of the three contestants come on. They're going to have 15 minutes to tell you briefly what they do when they first get to a listing presentation, and then focus most of those 15 minutes on the things they actually say to clients when they're sitting down at the kitchen table, trying to help somebody get their house listed. So each of them have a role play partner who's agreed to throw some common objections at them. We appreciate the role play partners for stepping up to this as well. They will get a 2-minute warning when there's about 2 minutes left. So let me first welcome our first mega agent here from the Summit Market Center, Lucy Thompson, and Maria Tsai, her very eager seller. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Now, Lucy, before we get started, I've had the pleasure to know you for a long time, but not everyone has. Could you just tell us a little briefly about where you work and just help everybody understand what clients they should refer to you when I know they're going to hear of somebody who needs to be in this area very soon?
Thank you, Shannon. I just want to also back up what you said about the guaranteed rate guys. You're absolutely fabulous, and I've never had a disappointment or a disaster when I'm working with them. So I operate in about a 15-16 mile radius of Summit. I do the majority, literally about 95% of my business is by personal referral, not just through my sphere of influence, but also through other agents, some of whom are no longer with Keller Williams, and they still refer to me, which is great. And my big thing is I will never ask anybody to do what I wouldn't do myself. I've done a lot of transactions, both buying, selling, and investing and renting as a landlord. And I really do walk the walk as well as talk the talk.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you. Everyone who knows you loves you. So any of you can feel very comfortable referring business to Lucy. So I'm going to leave you to the house, 123 Main Street. Take it away.
Maria, it's great to see you again. And just to fill everybody in, Maria and I met about 4 days ago. She invited me to walk through her house, and I brought with me my pre-listing packet and also a copy of all the forms that I would be sending her through DocuSign. I came in with a completely open mind. I didn't even look at the market before I went in. And we agreed at that time that I'd come back today and we'd sit down at the kitchen table, her kitchen table, and discuss everything. Maria, it's great to see you again.
Thanks so much, Lucy, for taking the time. I so appreciate it.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I know that you're taking time out of your busy work day to do this, so let's make this as beneficial as possible for you in as short a time as possible. My first question, Maria, is, do you have any questions from reading through the pre-listing packet that I left you?
So I think the only question that sort of jumps out at me is, I guess I'm still wondering whether or not, what my timing should be. I'm still debating whether I should renovate or move.
Yes, yes. And I kept that in mind as I was thinking about this over the last few days. And so I think we have two different approaches. I think one of the things you mentioned was that you might like to go out and see some homes further west to see what you might be able to get. And I'm thinking maybe we should do that sooner rather than later and go and see maybe a home in each of the 3 towns that you've identified that might be a possibility, because that would give you an idea of what's what. I also think it's very important for me to put you in touch with a great mortgage consultant. We have at our disposal and fingertips fabulous, fabulous people who are going to be able to help you. So I'll get that organized and I'll do an introduction for you. Basically, tell me a little bit more about why you would prefer to renovate or why you would prefer to move.
Well, I mean, I like my town. It's just me. It's good enough space. But, being in my home now, basically 24/7 for the last 6 months, there are certain things about it that I don't like.
Right.
But I like where I am. And I have to tell you, I kind of have office Zoom envy. And I really want a nice home office. I'm going to be working out of it for the foreseeable future, which is why I thought and started looking on Zillow for, what else is out there and what can I afford. So that's really where, but, I really like where I am too. And so maybe I should just change it up.
Right, right. Well, what I've done is I've looked at the market with a view to what you would get, maybe what the market would indicate if you decided to move, and also based upon the renovations we talked about. And keep in mind that you've got renovations and maintenance items, and sometimes people confuse the two. It's not a crime. It's just one of those things that, you've got to have a roof over your head. You've got to have a functioning water heater, heating system, air conditioning system, etc. You can't have water in your basement. So the things you've told me about, though, I think you mentioned that you'd like to sort of make more of an office space that would be nicer for yourself and also renovate your kitchen.
Correct. And before we go on, do you mind if I ask, what do I need to do to get my house ready?
Absolutely, yes. I have with me a very comprehensive letter with a checklist, the initial checklist of items that are more of a sort of repair maintenance nature. And they do include some outside things that we need you to do at the earliest opportunity, because we're now in October and by about the middle of November, we're not going to be able to do anything outside. So if that's the route you decide on, that's what I would suggest. And then when we have signed paperwork, I will bring in my stager and she will give you a 1-hour consultation, courtesy of me, and she will talk more about placement of furniture, addition of things to make rooms pop, that sort of thing. Does that answer your question, or do you have other questions about that?
It sort of does. It still feels like there's going to be a lot of work for me to do.
Yes.
So maybe I should stay and just go into renovation, or maybe tell me how much my house is worth. I don't know. Maybe let's start there.
That's a great question, and we will come to that in a moment. I have brought some comparisons with me, and I've printed out the photographs so we can look through them. And I've really chosen the 3 that are closest, both geographically and to your house. So just putting that to one side for an instant, what I'm hearing is that you are very concerned about what sounds like an overwhelming amount to do. I know we talked about decluttering when I walked around 4 days ago. And like most people, you're in the position where you're probably going to have to start that seriously, and the decluttering is generally about 50%. In some cases, would you believe it's as much as 80%, but you're not in that category, thank goodness. And my job is really your project manager. I'm your CEO of operations, getting you with a timeline that works, that we can follow, we can tweak as we go along, and giving you all the resources that you need. Whilst I'm not going to physically roll my sleeves up and help you with things like that, unless there's an emergency, and of course I'm willing to step in, I'm going to give you really good resources. So worry less about that once we figure out whether you're going to move forward with your renovation or whether you prefer to actually move. Okay. So going to the listings that are really the closest comparisons to yours, and keep in mind, we don't price, you don't price, I don't price, your neighbor doesn't price. Buyers make the market. They determine what happens along with things happening politically, economically, etc. So when I looked very closely after I came over on, Monday, I found 3 pretty good comparisons. So let's look at them now. You can see I've got the photographs as well. What do you particularly notice about these photographs on these 2 sets of listings?
Well, I can see that their kitchens are really bright and nice. And I guess maybe because that's something that I've not always liked about my own home, I notice those things.
Right, absolutely. Well, they both have white kitchens, which are very in. It's a very clean look. People can dress it up or dress it down. They've got granite countertops, etc. Then the 3rd listing, if you notice, has a 2-tone, which is perhaps even fancier. So you've got cabinets of one color, and then you've got the center island, which is very nice in a contrasting color. And that is primarily the difference between what you have and what they have. And you got it in one go, absolutely. So it sounds like we're very much on the same page. So I have here in my hand a letter that also talks about what we think the market might establish your home's value to be. So I'd love to know, before we even go there, what your thoughts were before we sat down today.
Well, I'm thinking, I mean, I've been here for 5 years and I thought I bought pretty good, but I haven't really done anything. This would be my first renovation. I've been watching a little bit, I check on Zillow, I hear certain things, but I'm really hoping to get at least 500 or so for my house. Do you think that's possible?
I do, and I know that it's always difficult to say because I don't make the market, you don't make the market. However, let's look again at these comparisons. These 2 homes with the white kitchens, they're priced around $530. And this other one with the 2-tone is actually $535. So if we look at that and we figure that you would likely have a buyer who's going to want to renovate your kitchen, and keeping in mind that you don't get back everything that you put in, it's looking to me like we're probably very much around where you are expecting. And then it's a question of whether we go for 500 on the nail, which might get us buyers on either side of that number, more buyers, twice as many, or whether we go for slightly under. And we probably won't know that fact until just before we list, when we revisit the market analysis and see exactly what else is on the market. Because the other thing I like to do, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, is I like to be a different number to everybody else if I possibly can, because I want your home to stand out. How does that fit with your thinking of what you feel on price?
So, I mean, it obviously is right around what I thought. My concern is, how much do you charge? Because obviously I don't get to keep all of it. So how much do you charge and what can I expect there?
Oh, that's a great question. And actually I have indicated in my letter exactly what it is. P.S. everybody, I'm not going to talk commission here because it's against the rules. But I have also, if you think about what I'm going to do for you, you're going to find that it's money well spent. You're a very busy person. You've described to me what you do as work. And as I say, I'm going to be your right-hand person orchestrating this along the way. And we're going to present your house in such a way that you get maximum top dollar for what you have within the realms of what the market dictates. And right now, we have a very active market, particularly around about this price range. So we're going to see some first-time buyers, some second-time buyers, and we're probably going to have a situation whereby if we really set a good list price that's appealing, we maybe will have more than one person making an offer. And that's going to more than offset what you pay in commission. Plus, I have to say, and I'll share these statistics with you as well, that our office achieves the highest amount based on list price of anybody else in the area. That's what we specialize in. Does that help answer your question a little bit more?
It does, Lucy, and I really appreciate you taking the time to detail that with me. And it sounds like you're going to hold my hand throughout the whole process.
Absolutely.
I just can't shake this feeling that maybe I should, reach out to my old agent, the one that I used to purchase my place, just to maybe get a second opinion. Because I'm just sort of feeling that if I'm going to be right on the nose at 500 plus with the commission, I don't know.
Well, let me just address that. You're not buying into a price for your house because the market determines that. What you want to feel is very comfortable with the person you're working with. You want to know that they are going to give you exemplary service and attention and that you get on well with them. Having said that, tell me a little bit more about the relationship with your previous agent. Are you friends with them? Have they stayed in touch? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I heard from them, I think the first 2 years, the first year they stopped by with a bottle of wine on the anniversary. I can't say that I've heard from her recently, but, I know that she's still working in town.
Right. Well, I would like to.
You guys a 2-minute warning.
Great. So I would like to address that further when we talk again, because you're not sure about whether you want to move or stay and renovate. I'm going to suggest that we speak again in about 4 days' time. I'm going to send all the information that I have discussed with you to you. I've obviously left some with you, but I'm going to send some more information too. And then what would work for you on, say, Monday afternoon? Would you have time for us to either chat in person or take a Zoom call at 5 o'clock?
If you can make it 5:30, because I finish work right at 5 o'clock, that would be amazing.
5:30 is perfect. I'm going to send you the Zoom link unless you prefer to meet in person, and we will go through that in a bit more detail. And meanwhile, I'm going to set you up to receive listings that are coming on so that you know what's happening with the houses that are being listed in your town right this minute moving forward. And I trust that you will ask me any question. If you have a question that comes up between now and then, you do not have to wait. And we will, I can address those either as they come up or when we talk again on Monday.
Great. That sounds amazing. And hopefully I'll see you over the weekend and maybe you can take me out to see some places.
I would love to. Why don't we do Saturday? Are you free Saturday afternoon at 2?
Yes, I can do 2.
Perfect. Let's get that done. And meanwhile, I'll email you our guaranteed rate mortgage consultant information. And I think you'll be delighted with what they have to show you and explain to you.
Sounds good.
It's great to see you, Maria. I'm looking forward to working with you and to getting this squared away so that you know whether you'd like to actually move or renovate.
Thank you so much for your time. I really
so welcome.
Yay, you guys were amazing. That's terrific. Let's bring out our esteemed judges, Vanessa Pollock and Seth Levin. And boy, that was really nice to watch, wasn't it?
That was awesome. Sorry, I just gave it away.
Lucy, you should stay. Lucy, bring yourself back. Seth, can we get, there you are. Lucy, I want you to stay on too so we can all have a chat. There we go. There
Got
we
myself
go.
back again.
So before you guys start, Vanessa and Seth, can you just tell us briefly about yourselves and where you work so that all of our colleagues here can feel free to throw some business your way when they have some. Vanessa, why don't you go first?
Okay, thank you, Shannon, for doing this and for all of the leadership who has put this together. For any guests that we have, this is our culture. It's sharing and teamwork, making the dream work, and being so learning based. So to all 116 of you who are attending, this is an awesome turnout for people to be learning based. My team, Pollock Properties Group, serves really all of northern New Jersey with a specialization on Maplewood and South Orange. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of this today. And also a big shout out to the gentlemen at Guaranteed Rate. They are a part of our team, and can't thank Matt enough for everything he's done to help us have such a successful year this year.
Thanks so much, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Seth, you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure. Thanks so much, Shannon, for inviting me. Small fact, I was a judge 3 years ago in the Short Hills Summit office, and Shannon actually won this competition. And, it's nice to come full circle and be back here 3 years later. I am an 18-year veteran in New York City. I was with another company for about 14 years before coming over to Keller Williams. And I will absolutely echo Vanessa that the most striking thing about Keller Williams that I noticed coming over was the collaboration, the learning-based sharing of information. Everything was a trade secret for the first 14 years of my career. I came over, I've been teaching negotiation, and my favorite negotiation is actually the listing presentation, which is our most important negotiation. And my team, the Levin Kong team, serves Manhattan, Brooklyn, and my business partner actually has expanded us into Queens and Long Island as well. So if there's anything in the New York City, those 3 boroughs and Long Island that we could help you with, we'd love to do so.
Thanks so much. So after you guys give us feedback on these, please make sure you put your contact info in the chat so people can reach out to you. But so let's hear it. Take it away. Vanessa, what did you think of Lucy's listing presentation?
Well, Lucy, I could listen to Lucy all day long. Lucy's an extraordinary heart and head, right? She brought both so much kindness and so much intellect to this appointment, and immediately helped her seller feel so comfortable and confident. And I really noticed that she led with questions. She asked powerful questions up front, asking the seller if they had questions about the pre-listing packet that she dropped off 4 days ahead of time, so that it no longer became a meeting about Lucy. It became a meeting about the seller. And then she continued with the questions. And isn't that the lesson for us, that we don't actually lead the appointment, the seller does? And I just think Lucy did such an awesome job with that. I also love that she pointed out that there's a difference between renovation and maintenance, right? And she's setting up the seller's expectations in terms of what they need to do just as a homeowner versus what would be considered a renovation upgrade. And making that distinction was a great moment of education, I think, for the seller. And she continued to educate throughout the appointment, which I really appreciated. She said that she would provide the repair and maintenance list. Again, repair and maintenance to prepare for sale is very different than design and staging, and she made that distinction really clearly. I love that she called herself the CEO of your operations, right? She's the CEO of your home selling experience, and it really created a sense of confidence, I believe, in the seller. And then I back to her education. I just love when she said, "We don't price. I don't price, you don't price, the buyers and sellers price. And again, she's just managing the seller's expectations about how the market may or may not respond, and helping them understand that it is market driven. And then she presented the comps. And what I loved, and I know would also be part of a great education for her seller, is to say that she's, yes, immediately going to show her property, but to set her up for e-alerts for the homes that come on the market in her neighborhood immediately. So I just thought that she did a fantastic job. And Lucy, awesome. If I had a golden ticket to give to you to Hollywood, I would.
Thank you, Vanessa.
So much. Take it away, Seth.
Okay, well, I clearly see that Lucy's in it to win it. She is very good at her job, and I can only imagine that her sellers, when she's going into a listing appointment, are just unbelievably calm and met with confidence by just her demeanor. To echo Vanessa, I think that our job is, we're detectives and we're trying to extract information so that we could better speak to the actual concerns of the clients, rather than going in there with a litany of things that we want to talk to, and some objection handlers that were ready to just pounce with. So I really loved that Lucy came out of the gate with questions. She was very clear, she was very concise, obviously just very pleasant, confidence inducing. And I thought that just in general, her demeanor was somebody that I think a seller would be very comfortable working with. The starting with questions is 100% what a listing appointment is about. So I think that was, she hit that right on the head. She offered 2 approaches, which I loved. It's choose your own adventure for the seller. We're not telling people what to do. The big thing that, I think is an opportunity that's often missed is laying out some options and speaking to what, different people have done in the past and what has worked for people. So you gave options, maybe missed an opportunity to speak to what worked for other people, would be one critique. But, just in general, I thought that was fantastic. You showed yourself as the expert, but you didn't make it about yourself. Again, you were the coordinator, you were the quarterback, the CEO, and you talked about putting a great team together, which I think is fantastic. You asked throughout the presentation, does that answer your question? Because I think real estate agents oftentimes don't stop to make sure that the seller actually processed what we're talking about, that it hit their concerns, and then we can move on to the next thing. Oftentimes, especially newer agents, they just want to get through what they have prepared, and that was very calm, and you checked in periodically, which I thought was great. I loved that you said buyers make the market, and then you asked what they saw in the photos. Again, asking, what do you see here, so that you're setting expectations, you're taking a negative off the table before it can be used against you later, perhaps. So they understand that their kitchen is different than another kitchen. I thought that the one, again, opportunity that might have been missed is when you said you don't make the market. I think that there's a leap there that you can say, but I do put you in a strategic position to maximize what the market can bear. So instead of being passive with the market, transition that to the active, I can put you in a winning position. But outside of that, I thought it was incredible. I would list my apartment with you in a heartbeat, and I thought it was incredible.
Can I just respond to Seth's comment? Seth, my second conversation with the sellers normally takes between an hour and 2 hours. So I was so hassled looking at my timer, counting down the 15 minutes. And I very often give copious examples of things, but thank you for pointing that out, because that is a really important aspect of what I do.
Of course. I can tell you are, incredible at what you do. There's no doubt about that.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for the very thoughtful feedback. And Lucy, great job. Maria, thanks for being a fabulous.
Yes, thanks, Maria. She was fabulous.
Yeah, she usually is, right? So let's head to our second contestants. Deepak and Pinky and Howard, our seller. Could I get you guys to come up on the screen? All right, let's see. Calling Deepak, Pinky, and Howard.
I guess we could not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you try? There you go. There you go. Now we just have to track down Howard Bunn. Where is our seller, Howard Bunn? Will the real Howard Bunn please?
I'm here. I didn't have control over my camera.
Yeah, we're not able to do that too.
All right. Awesome. Here we all are. So what did you guys think of Lucy?
She was great.
It was good. I think very calm. She has like really, good control of her pace and making the seller important in this whole process.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So before you guys kick off, tell us a little bit about who you are and where you work so that we can be sure to send referrals your way.
We are husband-wife team. I've been in real estate for 12 years. I was with different companies, even small mom pop shops. I was with Coldwell Banker. Now I'm with Keller Williams for, over 2 years. And we are so fortunate that we joined Keller Williams. That actually changed our whole real estate career. We really
From 4 to 40, we were part-timers before. We were just doing very, very few transactions, from probably like 4 transactions a year, but now over 40, 50. So that was a huge game changer, and we are more of a listing side. So this was a great opportunity, and I really thank Shannon and Joe Kozo for choosing us. It's nerve-wracking right now. As Lucy said, squeezing everything in 15 minutes is, I don't know how she did. So we'll try our best again, and let's see.
So I'm gonna vanish myself. I know you had a chance to speak briefly with Howard Bunn.
Yes.
For those who don't know him, Howard Bunn is the one of the OPs in the Westfield and Summit offices, and a generally all-around good guy. So take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Shannon.
Well, I'm not going to be a good guy right now.
That's okay. So we had a conversation with Howard over the phone, and we sent our listing presentation in the email and our marketing presentation, like a brief of it in the email. So he had an idea, and he told us about that he's moving, upsizing from 3-bedroom to probably 4 or 5-bedroom, and he already know where he's moving, and he wants to make the move probably in a 2 to 3 months. So he has a very clarity in that aspect. So say Howard, thank you so much for having us over today at your home, and we really respect that you are giving us this opportunity. So did you get a chance to review what you received in the email?
Yeah, I did, and I want to thank you for your time and your interest in what I'm trying to do. I think your materials that you prepared looked really wonderful, and
thank you.
You obviously are extremely professional, and the way you present yourself, at least as far as the paperwork goes. So I'm anxious to hear what you guys would like to do for me if I decide to give you my listing.
Definitely. We are excited too, Howard. So do you have any specific questions regarding like any marketing? I sent some comps too, and when we talked briefly over the phone, you had some idea about the market and some pricing too. You mentioned that you had some range in the mind. So
yeah, I did go through the papers and saw some of the comps, and I think probably you guys might have overlooked the fact, I don't know, you may not realize that my jacuzzi is much nicer than any of my neighbors. So
yeah,
my house really should be priced higher than those listings that you sent over, because my deck is only 4 years old, and it's such a nice deck, and my jacuzzi that I put in, it's not just a regular jacuzzi.
Yeah.
It's the top of the line. So
oh wow, that's great.
None of my neighbors have things like this.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Of course, that these are some of the upgrades and the features, the benefits that, we have to look that what you have done recently. And of course, we'll take a look. Do you mind, can we have a quick tour of your home?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Would you like
Yeah.
me to tour you around? Because I'd like to show you how the
Yes.
closet in the guest room, it holds more hangers than any other guest room closet. And I'd love to tour you around and show you these things. It should be possible to see it in under 3 hours, I would think.
Definitely. So, let's look around, and I have my notepad. I'll make a comprehensive top feature list for every property I'll list. So I'll make a note of all the features and upgrades that you have done recently. So let's do that, and we'll sit at the kitchen table. Is that okay with you, Howard?
Perfect, perfect.
That's great. So Howard, your home looks great, and I made note of all the upgrades that you have mentioned, and I think that really provides a lot of value than other comparables, and we'll discuss when we'll discuss the pricing. So is there any question other than those things you have in particular?
Well, I did just have one question. My goal is I would like to get a bigger house, maybe with another bedroom, bigger yard. I'm looking to, move up. And so
Yes.
in order to do that, I'm going to need the most money possible. I really have to do, the money's very, very important to me. I am planning to buy a house. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, if there's 2 transactions, maybe I could get a lower commission. What do you guys think about that?
That's a good question.
That's a good question, Howard. So here you're saying 2 things. So one thing is, like, of course, about the brokerage fees. We can definitely discuss about that, and also moving up and doing the 2 transactions, right? Is that correct? Am I hearing it right?
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
So, and you mentioned before that you have already, you have some places and some homes in mind that you want to put an offer at.
Yeah, but the money's going to be very tight.
Definitely. Howard, what our marketing, what I sent you in the email is a marketing, and our track record have always proven as that, our strategic marketing and our strategic pricing has always dictated that, we net the most money into our seller's pocket in the least amount of time and the least amount of hassles. Is that what you want for yourself?
Yeah, I'm less concerned about the hassle. I don't mind hassles just as long as the money is right.
Okay, sure. Of course, that's what my top priority as well. So let's discuss the marketing and what we can do to top dollars in your pocket. So is that okay?
That sounds perfect.
Okay, so I sent you a list of all the marketing techniques that I'm going to use at this time because of COVID and all those things. It is more than ever very important to do the social marketing. So we are going to do the very best marketing to net you the most money in your pocket. Is that okay with you?
Yes, I like that.
Okay, great. And as you said that that you want to the brokerage fees, right?
Yes.
So
So the brokerage fee is, how we like to, show is not everybody shares their list to price ratio. Like average agent in the neighborhood you live in, they net 94%. That means if they listed for 100,000, they net you 94,000.
Yes, I read that was the average ratio. Yeah.
Right. So our ratios, as you can see, our ratios are 100%, or in some cases, 101%. So our, fee is very well taken care of the money that you net. And why you net more money is because of so much of efforts we put in our marketing, in our social media campaigns, in our, following up with the buyers, showing them the value that your house has to offer. And that all has to do with the very active marketing and the pricing strategy.
right. When I was running down your comparable market analysis, I found that the list to sales price ratio of the average agents in your market area is 96% versus our track record shows it's above 100%. So we're already putting 4% more in your pocket. Does
Wow.
that sound good to you?
Yeah, That would be worth a lot to me.
Right. So, and that's what you want, right?
Yes, it's exactly what I want.
So why don't we discuss further and go ahead with the paperwork? Or what?
I like that.
Sounds good. And is there any other questions you have about pricing? Do you have a
Well,
price in mind?
I certainly have a thought about what price seems good to me, but what what uh, what kinds of ways do you have? You don't know my house as well as I do, so
Yes.
how do you come to a price that you think makes sense when you list a house?
Look, when we price a house, we do a comparative market analysis, you know that, right? So when we do a comparative market analysis regarding like, what value we put in the eyes of the buyer, right? So when a house is listed in the market, the buyers do a comparison between what features and what benefits one house is offering versus their competition, right? Competitive listings in the market.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to see. And when you give me all the upgrades, then we have to do apple to apple comparison. And that's how even the appraisers do. So we have to rectify all the problems right now versus dealing with these problems during the appraisal and on the later phases of the listing process. Does this make sense, Howard?
As long as you factor in the jacuzzi that I have, and then
Yes, definitely.
okay.
These are a lot of good upgrades that you have, the jacuzzi, the deck that you have, which the other comparables do not have. There are two ways that I do comparative market analysis, like active. I go through the active listings and also the closed listings. So we have the active listings, which I call the fantasy world. And the closed listing is a reality check because they have passed through all the inspection issues, the appraisal issue, and they have found a qualified buyer. Ready, willing, and qualified buyer, right? So we usually see what has sold in your community, the comparables, and with the closed properties, right? And this is right on the point what the price that you have in mind with little and the upgrades that you have. It's suggesting a 475 to 490. Is that something, a range that you are expecting?
Well, I was definitely around 550. Maybe you could just sort of show me where you're coming up with your figure. The jacuzzi, the best.
Yeah, and you said you changed that jacuzzi 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and how much do you think that jacuzzi will worth in terms of the new buyer who's just has never experienced the jacuzzi, either a standard size or a oversized like yours? Like, how much do you think they will pay more for the jacuzzi?
Well, the jacuzzi, it only cost $1,000, but I figured because they want to have something that's better than the other houses, they'd probably pay 25,000 more just so that they could have that. My neighbors don't have that. What do you think?
And do you think you would pay 25,000 more if it cost only 1,000?
Oh no, I would just buy the house and put it in for the 1,000. I wouldn't pay more myself. But the buyers out there don't know that it's that easy to do.
Maybe the buyers would do the same thing, because always think of it, the buyer who's buying your house is a first-time buyer, and every penny is important for them. So they are looking for the best deal out there.
Oh.
So we have to factor in the general public eyes. We are not looking a needle in a haystack. So Howard, let me just show you 3 pricing strategies, how they work. So the one pricing strategy is we price. We are looking for a needle in a haystack, which is above everybody else, another like 50, 60,000. Another pricing strategy we have is we are right at the competition where we are competing with our other properties. If they see more value there, they will go there. So, and then another one is slightly lower than the competition, where it creates a buyer frenzy. And what buyer frenzy means, that they see this property as a very hot property, very good value, and everybody jumps on it. And what it creates is a bidding war. And we have seen people pay $10,000, $20,000 higher We cannot guarantee that, but that is what the, the history has shown to us. So you have these three pricing strategies. As a seller, you have a right to choose which strategy you should choose. But always keep in mind, when you are buying a bigger house, you are using the proceeds from this house to buy this house. So timing is important. Our contingency is important, means we have to close this house first to buy this house. So based on looking at and these scenarios, what do you think you should choose the pricing strategy here?
Market above the price in the market, at the market, or below the market?
2-minute warning, guys.
Well, it sounds like I need to do something that's going to challenge the buyers a little bit more. So maybe I should think that maybe I should change my mind on the price a little bit.
I agree with you. I think that will really bring the best exposure and best foot to the home. And that will drive the market, that will drive the buyers to your home. So I think that will be the best strategy forward. And that's what we have seen over and over in our past experience. And that actually also drives the sales price up. So, the more offers you have, you are in a better negotiation position, rather than buyers are in a better negotiation position. So I want you to be the better negotiation position. And we have multiple offers on that. So you can net more money into your pocket.
Howard, are we okay with 475 price? And let's just go ahead, start our marketing.
Yeah, I see where I guess I didn't realize how efficient the market was, and hearing you explain how it works with the buyers makes me agree that we should go at that price. I see that now.
So this is the listing.
I just need your approval right here, so that I can start right away with my pre-listing marketing campaign, and I can go all to my top realtors in the market area that this listing is coming up. Okay.
Awesome. Well,
I'm very excited, Howard. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yay, that was great, guys. He gave you a run for the money, right?
Oh my God.
That's terrific. Thank you guys so much. Let's bring Seth and Vanessa back out. And they were pretty good, right?
They were.
They was. Seth, why don't you jump in first? Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, again, you guys were fantastic. I thought it was very friendly. It was very calm. You definitely presented yourself as the experts, which I think is important, without making it about yourself. I never felt like the appointment had anything to do with you. It was all about the seller. The seller did not make it easy, was very focused on the jacuzzi, but more so, he was very focused on the price. And you pivoted very quickly, which I think is the most important thing. Oftentimes we go in there thinking, because you said, oh, it's going to be seamless. It's going to be, just an easy process. And he said, I don't care about seamless. I don't care about, this being, having no issues. All he cared about was the dollar, and you focused and you moved to that, which I think is exactly what we need to do. We don't want to go in there with an expectation of what people should be focused on. We need to focus on what they're actually focused on, and then make that the central piece. So you also, you started with questions. Howard, he moved it to one specific thing, so there wasn't too much to follow up there, but you did validate his pride in the home, which I thought was good. He said he has got a great jacuzzi, and you validated that, which I thought was very important. He spoke about commission, and then you spoke about netting, which I think is the most important thing to do when people talk about commission. It's not what you spend, it's what you net. One thing that I like to do when people start talking about commission is talking about how commission is the biggest marketing piece to the brokerage community, and talk about how that's a way to attract more people. So that's one thing that I like to incorporate, but it comes down to what people net. So I think you hit it there. I would have, again, like I mentioned in Lucy's presentation, I really like to talk about other people's success. So I think that's a great opportunity to say, you know what, I've got a lot of clients who who always want to focus on trying to get the commission from X to Y. But when they choose X, this is what we've seen happen in the past. So I really like to show other people's success. It's just a very big piece of my presentation and my negotiation tact in general. You confirmed that you were answering questions throughout, which I thought was great. You said, did I speak to this? You know, does that answer your question? That was great. You put the jacuzzi question back on the seller, my favorite part of the whole presentation. If you were going to purchase, what would this jacuzzi be worth to you? And then Howard said it would be worth $1,000, just like I spent. So you let him come to the conclusion, which, you know, we are in the business of putting the breadcrumbs in front of people, let them make the decision. Fantastic. You gave 3 pricing strategies, again, giving him the choice. I thought that was great. He made the educated decision based on what you presented. And then I liked when you said, we have seen, you know, with this pricing strategy, we have seen this. And then you agreed with him. You said, oh, I agree with you. Validate him again. Howard seemed like someone that needed validation. You did that throughout. And then you know, when you got him to agree, it was in our past experience. And that was, again, you know, telling stories of success, which I like, not telling stories of your own success, but stories of, you know, seller success. So I think that was fantastic. Great job.
Thank you.
Anything we could have done better?
Yes. Any improvements?
It's a quick, you know, it's a quick presentation. I thought that, you know, given where his focus was, I think you handled, you know, it very well.
Thank you. Oh, that's nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good.
Vanessa.
You guys are so warm and so wonderful and so smart coming in the room. I want everyone to realize how much homework they would have had to have done for that appointment. How much preparation went into that to know the sale price versus list price ratio for the average agent and for what you've done. To have what you called the fantasy board versus the reality board. I'm using those words from here on out. That was awesome, but it took so much preparation. So I think that's the thing, just all of us to remember, it takes 3 to 5 times as long to prepare for these appointments as the appointment actually is. You know, Howard was a wonderful seller for you to role play with today. And I love that he gave you the through line of the jacuzzi throughout, right? And it did not trip you up at all. And you were able to not fixate on it, but acknowledge it and work it in throughout, which I really, really appreciated. And you were able then, and this is another one I'm going to steal. That's why I love this company. We all learn so much. You said to him, yes, walk me through the house. I want to write down the top feature list in your home to work into your marketing. But the sellers need to hear that out loud, right? And even if you're writing down central air conditioning, hardwood floors, like we've written it down a million times, the seller needs to hear it. They need to see us write that list. And of course, there's going to be times that we walk through without the seller because that's what's best for their timing. But for that seller, you knew how important it was for him to highlight his top features. You honored that, and you really took the time to let him feel heard. And then at the end, to wrap it up with the question of, well, Howard, would you pay $25,000 for that deck and jacuzzi? And to have him be like, no, I would have spent $1,000. And you didn't even have to really spend any time then on his answer, because you know that he now knows and you can move forward. And I love, again, allowing the seller to pick their pricing strategy. I would make a suggestion. You said it at least once that you can't guarantee multiple offers. I think it's really important to say that a few times. And if someone does choose the below market strategy, to say, I agree with you 100%. And I definitely want to be sure that we all acknowledge that there is no guarantees that the market will drive the price higher than that. And yet I think it's a great strategy, and the market will take it where it's, you know, where it will go. But I love that you let him self-select those strategies. And then my only other, because you asked Seth for feedback, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to you as well. I did hear a few times you wonderfully asked a lot of questions, but sometimes it would be 2 or 3 questions in a row. And then I could hear that the seller wasn't sure which question to answer. So one question, let him answer. The next question, let him answer. And then the next, rather than 3 questions in a row. But other than that, thank you for all of your hard work that you did to prepare for that appointment. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much, Vanessa.
Thank you for the feedback. Really
it was
appreciate
very thorough feedback, both of you. Thank you so much.
You guys are
Very
awesome.
helpful.
You guys were great.
Shannon told me yesterday when we were on the phone that, Pinky, this will be, you know, you will learn a lot. And I think I am learning a lot, hearing from Lucy and from all the feedbacks. It's a great learning opportunity.
I already have 3 pages of notes. I'm learning a lot too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Deepak and Pinky, you guys were awesome. Thank you so much for doing it. And honestly, Vanessa and Seth, I have to tell you, I'm feeling a little anxious. I think if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't be able to come up with as detailed and thoughtful of feedback as you guys are doing. So I'm learning from all of you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Deepak, Pinky, super impressive to hear that you guys have gone from 40 to 4 transactions, and so happy to be
very grateful for that. Thank you.
4 to 40, not 40 to 4. We don't want that.
Okay, so last but not least, we are very excited to bring up our 3rd contestant, Sherry. How are you today?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for inviting me here.
Super excited to have you. And Natalie, thank you so much for being the seller. So Sherry, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get going.
Hi, my name is Sherry Tomasco, and I work for Keller Williams Elite Realtors here in Metuchen, New Jersey. I specialize in the Middlesex County market, and I would love any of your buyers or your sellers that may be in this market that you'd like to send my way. I take a lot of time, and I really, really care about the clients that you send me. So I would appreciate it.
Well, and your reputation precedes you in exactly that way. So thank you so much for being generous and stepping up at the plate and doing this with us. I will be back in about 13 minutes to give you a 2-minute warning, but I'm dying to watch you in action.
Thank you. So to save some time, I'm just going to give everybody a scenario of what has happened. The client has called me, and when a client calls me, the first question I ask is how they've heard of me, so I know who I can thank. I work by a lot of referral business, and so then I find out everything I can about the house. I want to know how many bedrooms, bathrooms, any major improvements that they've done. Is there a mortgage on the property? I pre-qualify as much as I can in the beginning. I make sure that all the decision makers are going to be present for the appointment. If not, I will reschedule it for a time that everybody can be present. I collect all their contact information. I want to know their names, their cell phone numbers, and their email addresses so I can send them my pre-listing packet. And then I'm going to ask over the phone why they're selling, where they're going. It helps me to understand whether I can help them on the buy end, or do I need to bring in a referral agent. And so if I cannot help them where they're going, I bring a name of someone that I've already investigated to bring with me on the appointment. After our conversation, I'm going to send out an email, and that's going to have my pre-listing packet. I attach all of my information about my agency, my stats, what I have sold in the area. It contains testimonials. And then I arrive at the home. When I arrive at the home, I first sit down. I confirm what we had discussed over the phone. I go over the tax records to make sure that what I'm seeing is what's accurate. I like to go over square footage because sometimes that is not accurate. And then I begin at the front door. I tell my sellers that I like to look at their house as if I'm a buyer, so that I can see their home from a buyer's eyes, and they seem to really, really like that. I explain that I'm going to go over the home thoroughly, and it's going to take some time in the beginning, but I need to build the value right from the very start. So what I'm doing is I'm writing every single thing about the home. I'm asking a lot of questions. I want dates. Did you do this? When do you think it was done? I get as much information as I can. And then we build that value. And so here we are. I've had that conversation. I've walked through their home. The tour is now done. We're back at the kitchen table. And we're going to have a couple of objections, and I'll do the best I can. Here we go. So Natalie, where's my Natalie? Hi, Natalie.
I'm here. Hello.
Okay, there's my Natalie. Natalie, I want to thank you again for allowing me to walk through your lovely home. At this point, I want to know if there's any questions that you may have that I can answer first.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming over today. You know, I got to be honest with you. I have had several other realtors in here. And I know one of the recommendations that you had made was decluttering and cleaning up. And frankly, I'm a little concerned because no one else had made that recommendation. Some, you know, they all told me my house was great and I was ready to go. So, you know, I was just a little bit worried and overwhelmed. Working from home, I have my kids here, homeschooling. I just really don't have time to declutter.
I understand that, Natalie, and with the children and everything that you have going on, it's a lot. And so this is a huge project that we're undertaking because we want to maximize every dollar for your home. And sellers are doing in today's market everything they can to have their home show in the best possible light as possible. And so as your listing agent, I'm here to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. For that matter, then what good would I be? You're calling a professional because you need to hear certain things. And one of the things that I noticed is that there is a little more clutter than I would like to see in a home because I'd like it to photograph as best as possible. 95% of your buyers are going to be looking at your home online. And so if a home appears cluttered in person, it's going to appear that much more cluttered in a photograph. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about that before, but yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, and so when I talk about decluttering, I'm talking about getting each room to be as simplified as possible. And so I can help in that, and we can do that together, where I can walk through each room and give you some advice of what needs to be done. And you have help. I have people on my team that can also help and guide you. But this is a very important process that needs to happen so that we can get you that dollar value that you're looking for on your home.
Okay, I mean, I understand that. You know, between time and the kids, I mean, so you're recommending decluttering, but like, where am I supposed to put all this stuff? I only have a single car garage, which is already filled with stuff. Where am I supposed to put all this stuff?
Okay, so you're right. You do have one car garage, and I feel that if we can spend any time we can take some of the stuff that you have and we can put it in some Tupperware bins or some boxes, and we can put that out in the garage, because the garage of all the places in your house is the one that I'm least concerned about. I don't even need to photograph the garage, so I'm not worried about you putting even more stuff in the garage. As long as someone can walk around, it's okay that all your boxes be stacked up in the garage versus having all of the stuff on the inside of the home. That's an important piece, right? So we want the buyer to come into the home, and we want them to feel the space, to look around and envision themselves there. And that's why the pictures are another thing that we should really think about packing away. And what I tell most of my sellers is that you're going to be packing anyway, right? Because you're going to be moving. We're going to get your home sold. So why not start packing before time to maximize every dollar and get that buyer to purchase your home and not someone else's? Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. That's super helpful.
And so I sense the apprehension. I sense that you're concerned that you won't be able to do this. What is your time frame of putting the house on the market, Natalie?
Well, you know, my goal is to be in Texas as soon as possible. So I'd like to sell the house, you know, as quickly as possible.
Okay, so would 5 days to a week, if we gave ourselves a week to get this home ready, and I scheduled the photographer 1 week from today, do you think that you can have your home ready for sale?
I mean, it'll be a lot of hustling, but, you know, I can try my best to meet that deadline.
Right, and you do want it to show in the best possible light, don't you?
Yes, after, you know, considering that the photographs will look much better if there's not, you know, personal items out, that, you know, it makes sense. So yes.
So, I mean, even in the kids' rooms, I mean, we don't want things hung up all over the walls because it will look cluttered in a photograph. So taking some of the photographs down, taking some of the drawings that they've made down, the refrigerator nice and sleek and clean, we'll do the best that we can. And that's all we can do is the best. And I'll help you any way that I can through that process. I've got a great stager as well. She can come and do a consult with you and give you some more advice. Would that make you feel good if a stager possibly came in? And not saying you have to stage your home, but she can give you some really good advice of things, moving some furniture, maybe moving a few pieces, getting rid of a few pieces. That could really help.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, a stager, I mean, isn't staging expensive?
So staging could be expensive. I don't think you're going to need to stage the home in the sense of having furniture brought in. You've got beautiful furniture and your home is lovely. We just need to simplify each room a little more. That's all.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Natalie, what other questions do you have for me?
So, you know, we talked about timeline, but we didn't talk about price.
That's an excellent question. Price is really, really important. And so I've done my homework and I have some comps here. And what comparables are going to tell me is what homes like yours are selling for. And so based on the number of bedrooms, your square footage, your bathrooms, your approximate location to the other homes, the market is dictating approximately $470,000 for your home. How does that sound?
470, wow. I was definitely expecting a little bit more.
Okay, and how much more are we expecting?
I mean, based on the research that I've been doing myself on Zillow, you know, homes that are comparable, we're going for at least 500.
Okay, and when you say homes that are comparable, do you know when those homes sold? Did you look into that, the timing of when they sold?
No, I just looked at, you know, clicked on the homes that have sold in my area, so I'm not really sure when they sold. But I could see the prices that they sold for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so the homes that I have here that have recently sold are showing approximately $470,000. And so we may be able to get 500,000, but we won't know. And so we need to position it properly so that we can get the buyers to come to the home, look at the home, like the home, and hopefully submit an offer on the home. If we overprice the home, Natalie, and based on the market that I'm seeing right now and the square footage that you have, if we overprice the home, we will get showings, but we won't get any offers. And so when there's no offers, there's no one for your listing agent to negotiate with or talk to. We have to price and strategize so that we can get this house positioned to be bringing offers. And that's what we're looking for. I'm not afraid of a low offer. I'm afraid of no offer. So 470, 500, we're $30,000 apart. So we're going to have to figure out where and why we're $30,000 apart. I have 3 comparable sales here that are within the last 3 to 5 months. We need to look at the comps that you're seeing that you've pulled from Zillow and find out why. And what are the differences between the comps that I've pulled and the sales that you're looking at on Zillow? And we can do that.
Well, I thought that, number one, I would build commission into the sales price because I need to get the money back that I'm paying for commission. And also, I just put a new roof on the house last year. I, upgraded the HVAC. And so those are, that's a lot of money that came out of my pocket. So, I'm really looking to get the most money back when I sell the house, to get basically, my money back on those items that I invested in.
2-minute warning, guys.
And I understand that, Natalie, and that makes a lot of sense. I would want to get back all of the money that I put into my home recently as well. However, the buyers may not be giving you all of the money that you spent on that roof and that HVAC system. We need to make sure that we price it according to what the market's going to bear on your home. And the reality is that your home is worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. So that's why positioning is so important. And commission, that's a good topic, but commission should never be built into your sale price because it has nothing to do with what the market's going to bear. So we'll talk about commission, and I can tell you what my commission is if you would like to know, or we could talk more about price. It's completely up to you.
Okay. So what if we, started at around 500 just to test the market and see what happens?
And again, we can do that. And we're going to look at your Zillow sales that you have pulled up based on the comparables that I have pulled up. And we're going to work through that. And the bottom line is we're going to come up with a price together. My concern is that wanting to build in a commission may not be the way to go. So together, I think we can work this out and we can come up with a fair price. That's going to be a win-win for you to get the optimum amount of buyers into the house and with offers, because if we don't have offers, then again, we have no one to talk to. And the last thing we want to do, Natalie, is help someone else sell their home. We want to sell your home. Does that make sense? Let's go over those offers together and let's see what we can come up with. But if we can agree on a price together, are you confident enough that I can get your house sold?
Definitely.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. You were awesome, Sherry. That's terrific. Let's bring out our esteemed judges.
Just waiting for video permission.
Oh, are you? Okay.
There we go. Here it is. Thank you so much.
Let's see if we can get Seth back onto 1 second here. Vanessa, why don't you get started while we try to bring Seth back from here. There you go.
Hey, Seth. Oh my goodness. Sherry had to do so much prep work as well. If you heard her at the very beginning talk about how much she went into the pre-qualifying conversation with the seller before the appointment, I love, of course, that she led with, how did you hear of me so I know who to thank? I mean, that just teeing up the whole conversation with an attitude of gratitude is awesome. So definitely stealing that one. And just asking all of those questions ahead of time so that you really can come in the door feeling super, super just prepared and ready to answer the questions that are most important to the seller. Let's notice that all three of our listing agents today had a very robust pre-listing packet or pre-listing presentation. So these mega agents have made that a part of their world, and it's a big part of this process for them. And so that's just connective thing that I want to be sure everybody's made note of. I loved your honesty, Sherry, when you said, I want to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, right? And that you established yourself as the professional and the expert. And what a great script to help do that. And then you handled her trepidation about decluttering really well in terms of being sure that she understood that her first showing is online, and having her envision a photograph of each room helped her maybe almost disconnect emotionally from the reality of it being her home and thinking about it photographically. And so I thought that that was really, really fantastic. And then the way you also educated her about her garage was super important, because sellers don't know what you're photographing, right? We have to tell them, oh, no, I'm not photographing the garage. Pack it to the gills, right? We need to give them that permission, and you did that and made her feel so much more comfortable that it wouldn't be photographed. So she'd have a place to go and put all of her items. And then the moment when you got agreement from her and you turned that seller was when you said, you're just going to pack ahead of time. You reminded the seller she's moving. This isn't about anything other than the fact that you're moving. So let's go ahead and pack ahead of time. It's a win for you on the sale of your home, and it's going to make the move itself even easier. So that script was genius. And then the other thing that really jumped out at me that I wanted to highlight, when someone is wanting to price high, the fact that you said, I'm not afraid of a low offer, I'm afraid of no offer. Like, that seller immediately is like, oh gosh, I'm in no offer land in what I'm talking about. And then that helps them come back into, okay, let me get realistic, that I need some offers, not just no offer. So I loved that script. So many great one-liners in there. I'm taking my notes feverishly yet again. Great job, Sherry.
All right, so Vanessa in this case is a very tough act to follow because it was every one of my notes. But Sherry, fantastic job. I think each of the three listing presentations was, each one was a very unique style. Everybody had their own approach, but one thing was consistent throughout the three. It was very friendly. I thought it was a very caring approach. This was a seller with a lot of intrepidation, like Vanessa mentioned. You could tell that she was fearful of not selling. She was fearful of the decluttering process, and I think that you definitely spoke to that, and you helped remove a negative, which was really seemed in the beginning to be her only concern. Obviously, pricing became a concern later. To echo Vanessa, obviously the prep work that went into this is hugely important. You were asking questions before you got there. Why is she selling? Where is she going? So again, you know what concerns to focus on when you get into the door. And I think everybody out there, that's the most important thing, again, is to focus on what the actual concern is, not what you think the seller is concerned with. So you started with the decluttering. Obviously, other agents mentioned that she didn't need to, but you said, I understand that, which I love. You know, validate again. We always need to validate, never be combative, and I understand. That's huge. You said, I want to see, you know, this. I want to see. We'll take down family photos. I would say the only thing that I would shift there, that, you know, what's going to put you in the winning position, what has worked for other sellers is doing this. That's my one critique from that part, which I think you handled fabulously. You removed the negative about, you know, putting things in the garage. Like Vanessa mentioned, the seller doesn't know that you're not going to be shooting the garage. So you're educating, you're presenting yourself as the expert. I thought that was fantastic. I loved when you said you can start packing now. That is 100% going into my decluttering staging piece when I talk to sellers moving forward. You mentioned that you have a team. You said not saying that you have to, you know, removing pressure. Again, for me personally, that's where I say, however, this is what I've seen in the past. When people do this, they've achieved X amount more than the competition. When it came to pricing, I liked when you said, the market is dictating. Again, it's not up to us. We're not the ones that set the price. We put you in the winning position to maximize the price. We'll position your property properly. I thought that was, you know, a great piece. And then you said you would help her make the best decision, come up with pricing together. I love collaborative spirit. We don't ever want to put pressure on sellers. They have enough pressure. They're moving, they're getting a new job. You know, if they're leaving town, they're moving, you know, to another house. They've got to pack up everything that they've got. Obviously, she was stressed out about the decluttering. So, you know, you said, I will help you. We'll price this together. And again, you know, validating people's concerns is our job. It's finding out what their concern is, validating it, and giving them solutions, and showing them that their concern is, you know, something that we can work together. So I thought it was great, and it's going to be a tough decision for everybody out there.
Awesome. You guys, thank you so much. Sherry, thank you.
Thank
Vanessa,
you.
Thank you. Now, in the interest of time, this runs out. We're over at 12:30 today, so we're going to do two things very important really quickly. First, we're going to just throw out this mortgage trivia question, and the first person to get the answer right or closest is going to get a prize. And then we are going to have a very, very quick poll to pick our listing scripts champion. So I'm just going to kick it over to Jackie, who is going to give us the trivia question.
Hello, everybody. So Guaranteed Rate is a national direct lender. And for the month of September, take a guess at the total dollar volume of loans closed with Guaranteed Rate. Type your answer into the chat now. You have 30 seconds. Go.
Now I feel like we need
16, 15.
Okay, guys, I'm going to just tell everybody about the voting for the listing script champion. As soon as we announce the prize for the trivia, a poll is going to come up, and you're going to be able to vote either for Lucy Thompson, Deepak and Pinky, and Sherry. So give us about 1 minute on that, and you guys are going to vote. And you know what? I'm so pleased. We still have 100 people sticking around here. We're going to be out of here in 1 more minute. And obviously, they have found so much value from all of you listing champions and our judges that everybody has stuck around. So here we go. We're going to just be announcing the winner in 1 quick minute. Okay, Jackie is telling me that we're nearly at a tie, so Jackie's doing a quick randomizer. And the winner is Cheryl Psycho. Woo! Congratulations, Cheryl. Be in touch with Matt, John, and Brian to collect your prize. We're very excited for you. All right, now to the moment of truth. We are going to have your poll pop up in a minute. And everybody is going to vote. All right. We're going to give it about 30 seconds. Jeopardy, that's the word I was looking for. We need Jeopardy music, don't we? Doo, 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 doo. Okay. We've got about 10 seconds left. Wow, this is ridiculously close. I am watching. Wow, wow, wow. Unbelievably close. All right, guess what, guys? Sorry, I'm just taking a little picture of the screen here. The poll is ending. I am super excited to announce Lucy Thompson, the winner, by just a little tiny bit. Lucy, can you come on? Can you put yourself on the screen one more time so we can pay a proper congratulations? Lucy Thompson, the winner. Woohoo!
I honestly, to me, there are no winners. Well, there are no. Everybody's a winner, is what I'm trying to say. I was completely blown away by my fellow panelists. They were fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
You know what? Thank Lucy. You're so humble as always, and honestly, the results were ridiculously close. So you nudged it out by a hair, but I agree with you. The other contestants were amazing, and like Vanessa said a couple of times, I have so many notes from great scripts. So do you. So the real winners are the over 100 people that stayed on this call to learn from you guys. I'm just blown away at how much good information was shared today and how many people stayed to take advantage of it. And you know what, everybody go out there and get those listings. We all need them. Thanks so much, everybody. Cheryl and Lucy, be in touch with our guaranteed rate guys to collect your prizes, and take care.